Conor. Conor's in a position now where he's failed a drug test, not one but 2 drug tests. So you can only go with fact, and that's what it's all about. So everything that's happened, everything that's gone through the British Boxing Board of Control have said, look, this is fact. The WBC or the WBA have said, look, you can box under our sanctioning on the WBC. Yeah, WBC. They've sanctioned him to fight. What do I make of the interview? I wasn't convinced of anything by the fact that there was an illegal substance found in his system. So what it was something or nothing. I think Piers Morgan. I've seen Piers Morgan rip people to shreds, and actually Piers was pretty kind to Conor, and he could have really gone on him. But it's just how it is. And it's a case of Conor's just. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have done it. I just wouldn't have done the interview point blank unless you had something substantial to say. It's this. I wouldn't have done it because it was bordering on Prince Andrew all over again, man. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, come on, Conor. And it was just, it's just hard. It's just a hard situation.
Those are the words of Johnny Nelson as he responds to the interview with Conor Benn when he was on Piers Morgan, which is a huge platform in the UK. Huge. And as you heard, you heard Johnny say that he wouldn't have done it unless he had something legitimate or tangible to say, different. And I would have to agree with Johnny Nelson. I mean, listen, you don't come on a platform that big. You don't come on a platform that big, right? You don't come on a platform that big just to say what we already know. And to say that there's nothing else going on. Oh, well, I'm under the investigation. The only thing we've seen from Conor Benn is, the way he felt about the accusations. That's the only thing that we saw. We witnessed. We seen tears. We seen emotion. You could chop that up and, splice that with passion. But, because it's all emotion. We seen how emotional he was because of the ordeal. We seen him reiterate, or we heard him say that how he feels about cheats, like they should be banned for life. And I'm like, okay, you're saying something that is totally hypocritical right now because you are the cheat. You are the person that failed 2 drug tests. You went on Piers Morgan and admitted that you failed 2 drug tests. Pragmatically, you are guilty. Pragmatically, you should not fight again. Now, how do I personally feel about fighters that take drugs? I don't think it should be that bad unless they really wanted to get rid of them. And I don't really think they do. But based on Conor Benn's own standards, he hung himself with his own words. They should be banned for life. I'm like, dude, banned for life. And you failed 2 of these motherfuckers with the same thing twice. And really, if you go back and we look in yesteryear, we look at Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller failed and he had like EPO in his system. And then like the very next year in 2022, one of those years, 21, he tested positive for that shit again. Same thing. So that means you couldn't, or you like the results of something that you take and you still keep taking it and you refuse to stop. That's all you have, people. Okay? And with Conor, man, I know that moral, I'm proud, and I'm like, dude, at this point, your pride means nothing. Being the smartest or doing the most logical thing makes more sense because that helps you. Not any of your pride, not any of your emotion, not any of this stuff, because he already admitted, hey, people are going to think what they're going to think. You're not going to stop them from thinking it. I don't care how many lawyers you buy. Even at this point, Eddie Hearn, like Pierce Morgan reiterated, because he, like Johnny Nelson's right, he could have ripped into Conor. I mean, like he does, like Andrew Tate. I mean, he went at Andrew Tate, if you guys can remember. He could have done that shit to Conor. But he didn't, and I think because of respect he had for Nigel. Because he knew Nigel would probably be calling him like, hey, what the fuck, mate? You just crucified my boy. You know, those type of things probably would have transpired. And I think, you know, the anarchy, okay, the second generation blessing helped him through that interview, gave him a nice cushion, okay? So Pierce Morgan, I feel, pacified his ass through that interview. You know, but a lot of things that he said pretty much put himself in a situation that make them look dumb. You know, because Pierce was like, well, why didn't you just do that then? Why didn't you just send everything that proved that you were innocent over to the people that said you were guilty? That makes perfect sense. I don't know, my lawyers. Well, get rid of the fucking lawyers if you needed them. And then here's the thing. People are going to look at that like, what the hell you needed them anyhow? O.J. Simpson needed a good lawyer or his ass was going to jail for killing Ron Goldman and Jessica Simpson. Right? Or Jessica Brown Simpson. Right? So, that is that. He got Johnny Cochran to get him off. You go and hire a bunch of people, lawyers that are educated, equipped, prepared to deal with with this type of thing. That's what you're dealing with. So at the end of the day, it's like everything that Conor Benn has done and things that he said has only made him look guilty, to the point where, like Pierce Morgan said, Eddie Hearn has also said that he needs to move on and shut the fuck up and go on about his business. He could have saved himself a lot of time, money, and grief by doing so. Okay? But it does show you that in the UK, they have love for boxing royalty. Because if that would have been if Conor Benn was a regular ass fighter, okay? If he was a regular ass fighter, he would have done his 6 months or whatever it was. He would have got his license revoked, which they already are, and he wouldn't have been able to fight, and that would have been it. But I do agree with Johnny Nelson from this one. I wouldn't have done that interview because it didn't do anything good for him, and in fact, I think it hurt him. But you guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.